Wait, dude, this isn't aluminum. This is carbon.
That's carbon.
I thought it was aluminum.
No, it's not cold or anything. Aluminum's cold. It has a different feel.
Look at you with the brain.
So we're back. I'm Carl, and this is
Kenji.
Thank you, Kenji. And we're back for another episode of Bikes and Brews.
Yes, we are
Brew
back.
ha. And today we're going to talk about dropper posts, seat dropper posts. Why that's such a big deal these days.
They're intimidating. I'm scared.
I don't understand that. What does that mean?
It looks complicated. Maybe you can
Yeah,
break it down.
it's not. We're going to break it down. We're going to break it down for you.
But first,
we need to get to this. What are we drinking today?
it looks like a Belgian.
I like the garage operation thing. I like that.
This is another garage. Yes, a garage.
I like
beer.
that though, because
Silver
that
can
usually
and a
means
sticker.
they're taking care. They care. They're doing low quantities, so low that they can't afford to print on a can. They got to do a sticker and place it on there. Decal. This is 7.5% alcohol by volume. Okay, what are we drinking? A Belgian IPA. I don't know what that means.
Belgian grain and yeast, American hops, and perfectly balanced water. This is our debut to the craft beer world. We're AMAROK Brewing.
Debut.
They're hailing from a little backyard in Glendale.
That's not usually a good comment I like to hear on a can. Debut. This is our first attempt.
Woo! All right,
they have
straight out of Glendale, dude. Straight out of Glendale.
I'm hoping they'll prove us wrong right now.
You know, I'm not gonna judge till it hits the good old.
Let me get your glass for you. I'm gonna be chivalrous.
Ooh.
Head bobble.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. He's a giver, ladies. All right, let's do this thing.
Hold on.
Ooh.
Hold on, I haven't got mine yet.
I know, I'm just, there's
a head on that.
I know.
I like
just
that.
getting a little flavor. Living on the edge. Living on.
Pro.
Wow. you stress me out, dude.
What?
Oh, you're making a mess.
What?
You're lucky the shop dog's not here.
Oh yeah, what is a shop dog?
Hold
on.
Beer mustache.
Where's the shop dog? First attempt.
10.
A lot of like mushing
10.
in the 10?
10.
Wow. First attempt, a 10.
That's good.
Knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, that's a tasty beverage right there. I'm curious to see where you're at with this. This is.
It's at the 1.
Like, ouch, man. Is this shirts off? Down to the beach in Glendale? Land?
I'm gonna say summertime.
It's hot in Glendale.
It's a summertime 7.5. Not in a snowman. Not a snowman.
No snowmen.
And wintertime, I think this goes better with heat. So I'm gonna give it a 6.5, 7. 7.
Ouch.
An 8 is a snowman. And I can taste a lot of the unfiltered stuff in there.
Snowman.
An 8 is a snowman.
God, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so this time we're gonna talk about seat droppers. So
Yes, we are.
why do you run a seat dropper? It's to get that seat out of the frickin' way.
Why? Why do you need it out of the way?
Well, you really only need it when you want to kind of move the bike around and you need to have the bike handling at its best, because when the seat's up, you're pretty much at leg extension and you're precarious and you're at the most forward and high position, which for climbing is okay, but for descending can be pretty squirrely.
Yeah, not rad.
You want to be able to change your natural body geometry.
Yeah.
And with the seat up, you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was playing a little devil's advocate there because I will never, ever, ever run a mountain bike in the future that doesn't have a dropper post on it.
Absolutely.
In terms of mountain bikes like that I would actually ride, I will never ever run a non-dropper post
When you
bike.
need to climb and you also want to have better handling, you want to get the seat out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the handling is, as you said, I mean, if you've got the saddle in the way, and you're trying to lean the bike over in a turn to get grip, it's not happening.
Right. The best thing to do is run a seat dropper. Now, also what happened is because nowadays people are assuming you're running a seat dropper, they started changing the geometry of the bikes to accommodate.
I didn't know that. You were telling me about this earlier, and I had no idea that they were actually modifying the geometry of the bike, but it makes sense.
So back in the day, your seat angle is pretty similar to your steer tube angle. And when you're up, you're like in an awkward position, but you just dealt with it. But now they're assuming your seat's steeper when you're climbing. So you're kind of in an awkward, like tight position, but it's optimum for climbing. But you don't want to descend that way, but they know that your seat's going to be dropped out of the way, so it doesn't matter. So you can make your seat tube a lot more vertical, a lot more steep. And you can rake out your front fork a lot more because you don't have to worry about it.
So that goes with that kind of long, low, that new geometry style that's in play.
Okay, so now that you have your seat dropper installed and everything, then you know, it's annoying. Like, what do you do with the cable?
Yeah, it used to be.
It's called a cable operator.
Yeah, before, you know, manufacturers were assuming that you'd have a dropper post. Sometimes you'd have to have external cable routing outside
or
the frame.
a weird lever underneath the seat.
Or the lever under the frame.
Stupid.
Now it's super clean. You've got the routing through the frame. They're generally pretty easy to install.
All modern trail bikes, even cross-country bikes, and a lot of other bikes, they have internal cable routing.
Yeah,
Sweet.
I mean, I'll tell you what, like,
clean.
Full weight weenie on my hardtail, but I'll still run.
I do too.
A dropper.
I love it.
100%.
And KS makes this. This is a cross country one.
Yeah, it's a cross country one. Super lightweight, short travel. I mean, it's an amazing difference.
Yes.
In handling.
Yes. You can make up a lot of time. Even at the World Cup level, the cross country racers, they're running a lightweight. Okay, so they we'll get in a second and get into this in a second, but the amount of drop you have in cross country isn't going to be as much as like a trail bike, but it's enough to get the seat out of the way.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about travel, right? So you're going to select a certain travel for the application that you're running. So shorter travel is going to be your gravel bikes, your XC bikes. I know, you just...
I know.
You
said gravel.
You just tolerate
let's
it.
just say, let's substitute gravel with cyclocross. I can get down with that.
I don't know if I've ever seen cyclocross racers using a dropper post though.
I bet there are.
I haven't noticed one.
I haven't noticed either. I don't know.
Anywho.
Anyway.
then you get on trail bikes, right?
Yep.
So your travel increases, and then you get on downhill bikes where the travel.
So in the past, like I said, like geometry, bike manufacturers are understanding that you're going to run a seat dropper, and so you want to have an uninterrupted seat tube, so you can put a seat dropper in there and still get the amount of maximum extension, and because that's still got to go down.
Right.
And KS has one of the best ones. So this is a trail one here.
So that's where I was going to go next, right? It's the considerations for fitting the actual dropper post into a frame.
Right.
Right. So that's where it gets really complicated.
If you have a curved seat tube or whatever.
Or you have long legs, short legs, right? So your bike fit comes into play. So you want a dropper post that has the maximum extension, and it's engineered to have the minimum amount of actual frame insertion. Right.
That's where these lines.
So that way
you
have the most flexibility in terms of bike fit for yourself as well as frame fit for the seat post. Right?
Okay.
So that's a big deal.
That's huge.
Yeah, they do. KS does a really good job with that.
They do an awesome job with that because I mean you got to figure like the seat tube. It's getting shorter and shorter because people are slamming their seats. You want to get that seat out of the way. The top tube.
Or there's just frame shape. Right?
Yeah.
You know, different frame shapes to it as well. There's always been the general fear around reliability with these, right? So
they went through a learning curve phase.
Yeah, what's cool about these is now they're a lot more reliable with cartridges inside, so they're kind of just built to last for a lot longer. If it goes bad, you just replace a cartridge, boom, you're done. The bearings and seals in here are a lot nicer, more durable, so you don't get that weird play.
You do have to take care of them a little bit.
Yeah, you do.
You know, it's like any other suspension component.
Yeah.
You have to, maybe not as finicky, but
well, definitely around the seals. You want to keep those clean, right? And obviously, you're going to service like any seal. It's a wear part, right? So you're going to service these and probably put some grease.
You know, KS is great about that too, because like they'll help you out at any time. You know, like.
And then generally speaking, in terms of adjustability, like most dropper posts are going to have the same amount of adjustability. Fore, aft, an angle for the saddle.
It's basically a seat post, but
the
then
angle for your dangle.
He called it a dangle.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
Got to get it
So
right.
you got the seat post, you got a cable going on it, and then you have the lever. So the lever is pretty key because now you have stuff on your cockpit, and you're trying to put it where it's reachable and everything. I mean, some of these are pretty sweet. So it's a personal preference thing.
Totally.
But
yeah, there's the over the top, right, where you're up here, and this I feel like is the more traditional old school dropper post lever. I feel like that's where it started.
Yeah, but
or am I wrong on that?
I think
Did the
you
under
might
the bar?
be. Well, the thing is, I'm totally making this up as I go along. I think people used a shifter lever.
I'll drink to that.
On the left side because they're used to it, and they wanted to mimic that with a seat drop lever, so that's probably what you're kind of used to doing.
Oh, you mean the shifter for the front derailleur?
Right.
Which is now missing.
Which is now missing.
most
So you
modern
want to
motor-
mimic that
mountain
and
bikes.
set it up in the exact same spot that you normally would, but now it's your seat dropper.
Well, it's just a convenient spot to put it, right?
Totally
I mean,
made
if
that up.
you remember the crowded cockpit where you have the fork lockout, the rear derailleur, the front derailleur, and a dropper post. Are you kidding me? That's just like too many buttons.
There's too many buttons.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what to do with that.
But there's a lot of options. There's a lot of things that basically you can customize your cockpit any way you want. Feeling, ergonomics, all that stuff. There's no excuses not to have it. The benefits of a cross-country dropper outweighs like the minimal weight penalty of the cross-country one. And in trail, it's if you're going to get a modern bike, they've already considered that, so you don't even want to ride it without it because it's going to feel weird, especially going downhill.
I mean, if there's any amount of descending that you're doing, having a dropper post will 100% make up for the time, the quote-unquote time that you lose for the extra 50 to 100 grams, whatever the weight penalty might be over a traditional post.
And usually you want to gravitate towards the maximum you can get away with your frame, which is, these days 150, 160, maybe 175.
Yep.
Cross country, I run an 80 mil or 100 or even around there. But if you can get away with more,
run a 125 on my
that's
cross-country
pretty good.
hardtail.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
that's pretty awesome.
Just,
oh,
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I took a page out of your book. I know.
Whoa.
Yeah, with one of these.
I like that description.
I like
Okay, let's wrap it up.
Do we have to? I like to.
Let's send it.
I don't know how you even shift with that, dude.
I don't have a problem putting my thumb on the seat dropper at all. Like I kind of go one of these.
It's disturbing.
And I do that.
God.
Yeah.
Oh,
Except my lever's set up like this. Okay. Anyways,
wrap it up.
let's wrap this up. Anyways, we just touched on that. We're gonna send it though.
Yeah, I definitely send it with a dropper
That
post
should do
on
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. I'm brainiac because it's warm. It's room temperature. Seat droppers. It changes everything. And
It's like a lightsaber.
I'm uncomfortable with that. You just made eye contact with me. But before we do that, we're going to drink some beer. Oh my gosh. You're going to cut you off.
Let's see where we're going.
Let me pour you this.
What? It's a good blend. It's a good blend. What did you just do to that big glass?
I ate that beer. Oh, I'm so complicated right now. We're gonna talk about sea droppers.
No, wait.
Oh, we didn't give it a rating.
We haven't even drank mine yet.
I like this. I'm gonna give this a snowman. I don't know what he's giving this. That's an 8 for me. 2 circles. Precarious, because you're optimized for climbing. And we'll get. Drop it. That's a wrap.